Hi, boys and girls. I'm here with Santa and his bucket instead of his sack. Right, yeah. Today Santa has a bucket. And these aren't new toys for Santa to deliver this year. These are toys that Santa has delivered in the past. You can kind of tell, look at this one's been used quite a bit. It was a very fun toy. Santa delivered these toys to my kids when they were little. But I was looking at them thinking about all the different shapes that the toys that Santa delivers come in. And sometimes we see flat shapes for toys, but a lot of times we see shapes that are not flat. Let me show you the difference in what I mean. Let's see, I think I drew a triangle here on this sheet of paper, and it's flat on the paper. A triangle, circle, rectangle, oval, trapezoid. Those are all flat shapes that we talk about. But there's also something called a solid shape. Maybe you've heard it called a 3D shape before. They're kind of puffed up. They're not flat. Well, this 3D shape has a name. Sometimes we call it a box, but there's a little fancier name for it too. We like to call this one a rectangular solid. Do you think you know why we call it that? Okay, what do you think, Martin? Yeah, you're right. There are rectangles on the faces or the surface of this shape. So we call this a rectangular solid. Very good. All right, let's take a look at a few more of these shapes. What do you think about this one? Yeah, this is a toy from a long time ago. Maybe you've seen one of these somewhere. Maybe, I think there may have been one in Toy Story if I remember. But what shape is this toy? What do you think, Ethan? You're right, it's like a ball. And what do we call that? Yes, it's a sphere. Not a spear like you imagine, like a knight in shining armor having a spear. This is a sphere. Yep, you can hear the F sound in there, can't you? All right, good job. So now we've had a rectangular solid. We've had a sphere. How about this one right here? What is this shaped like? Okay, Aubrielle, what do you notice? You're right, there are like a square shape on each of the surfaces. And what does that make this? Good girl, it's a cube. Good. Yeah, I noticed when we talked about a rectangular solid, it was made of rectangles. When we talked about a cube, these are all squares. Okay, good. Right, here comes another one. How about this toy? Yeah, this is kind of fun. Yeah, if you get it spinning around, look at that. It's called a tornado tube. You can, let's see. Yeah, you can get that right inside of there. Yep, good job. But we're talking about the shape. I got a little carried away with wanting to play there, didn't I? Yeah, the shape is called, Benjamin, do you know? It is. It's a cylinder. So a cylinder has a circle on its top and bottom. And then this is actually, if we could unwrap this, you would find that it's shaped like a rectangle. Spheres can be fun. Okay, or spheres, cylinders. Thank you. Thank you for noticing that. I got to get that right. Let's see. What about this one? Well, yeah, I know yeah. Okay, Logan, what? You're right. They're shaped the same, but this one is much smaller. Can it still be a cylinder? Oh, it can. We can have them in different shapes inside. Different shapes, different sizes, but they're still the same shape. Okay, very good. All right, let's look at this one. All right, we found ourselves good job, Remington, a rectangular solid, just like this one. See this right here, the box? We just talked about how they can be different sizes, but still be the same shape, and that's what these are. All right, let's take a look at this one. I like this one. It's so bright and fun. Okay, what do you think this one is, Nevaeh? Yeah, a square on each side. Yep, we find a square on each side. And what do we call that? It's a cube. We could count the squares, couldn't we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. So we have a cube. Okay, good. How about this one? Anyone know what this one is? Very good. It's another sphere. You know what I notice about spheres? They're kind of fun, but you got to keep your eye on them because what can they do? Can you hear what it's doing? Yep, it's rolling. Do we want to prove that? All right, let's try to prove that and see. All right, if we can fit this up here. Yeah, this one came. This toy is actually part of this great big toy here. Let's see what we can do to see it. All right. Are we getting it here? Mrs. Finkel had this figured out earlier, but then her camera on her laptop wasn't working, so when I switched to my iPad, that kind of switched our view, didn't it? All right, I think we can still see what we need to. I'm going to start this sphere up at the top. You see what it's doing right there? You're right, it's doing what we call rolling. Rolling, 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 right down to the bottom. You want to try one more? All right, let's make one more go and see if we can roll it. You know, when we talk about 3D shapes, we like to notice what they can do. We like to notice if they can roll. As we see, a sphere can definitely roll. We proved that, didn't we? Do you think there's other shapes that can roll? Let's test a couple of these out. Let's tilt this here and try our cylinder. Oh yeah, that's rolling. I could make it roll off the table, can I? What about this rectangular solid, the box? It's not rolling. What do we call that? I think we'd call that a slide. Yep, that's right. You know what I like about these? They can also stack. We could stack these on top of each other. I wonder, does every shape stack? I know that spheres can roll. Let's find out. Here's another sphere too. Let's find out if spheres can stack. Why are you laughing? You think this is going to get exciting? All right, let's see. Here they are. Let's stack them up. Oh, yeah. That's not stacking too well, is it? Let's see. No, it's rolling right off. Are you wondering how they make snowmen then? Oh, well, remember, when you make a snowman, you kind of smush the one big ball on top of the other, right? And look at, it's kind of like on the bottom of this one. I didn't show you that yet. That's why it didn't roll away, because it was kind of flattened off. It's not completely a sphere, but that's why I kind of covered that part up with my hand. All right, well, boys and girls, we learned about how there are flat shapes and 3D shapes that we like to call solids. And we learned some of their names. We'll talk about those a lot more in the future, but right now I want to talk about our number of the week so that you know what you're going to be working on for your stations. So one thing you're going to do is you're going to be working with the number 12. You can see the little girl holding up the 12 there. So your job is to find all the number 12s here, glue them in these spaces, and then trace down here. When you make your number 12s, make sure that they're not right on top of each other, but they're spaced just right so you know they're still part of the same number. We're not really doing a 1 and a 2. We're doing the number 12. Very good. All right, so that's one of our assignments. And the second responsibility is, this is one of my favorite ones each week, when you get to show me how you would build 12 in some way. Oh, well, very good, Audrey. You're right. 12 can also be called a dozen. So you could make a dozen stamps from your little Christmas tin. You could get out a dozen or 12 beads. Okay, sure. If you have any of the little stamps still in there, you could put those on here. That would be great, or something you have at home. Very good. What was that, Hunter? Oh, you want the kids to think about that? That's a good, challenging question. Hunter wants to know if he's thinking about the number 12. Is that thinking about a 10 group and then 2 more? What's the answer to that, Hunter? It sure is. That's a 10 group and 2 more. I'm glad you're thinking about what we were learning last week and connecting it. That's great. All right, boys and girls, well, you have some work to do, so go ahead and get started.